There are only 7 active supervolcanoes on Earth. Together, they represent less than 1% of all known volcanic systems, yet a single major eruption from any one of them could alter the global climate for years. One of them sits beneath a lake so calm that millions of tourists photograph it every summer, completely unaware of what is below them. Another one has been lifting the ground beneath 3 million people's feet for 20 years without stopping. And one of them produced the largest eruption in human history, an event so violent that scientists believe it nearly wiped out the entire human species. Today, we are ranking all 7 from the least immediate threat to the most dangerous active supervolcano on Earth, measuring current unrest levels, proximity to population centers, eruption history, and the specific consequences each one would produce if it activated right now. And the supervolcano at number 7 is not the one that gets the most news coverage. One of them has been rising at a rate of 144 centimeters since 2005 and triggered a national civil protection emergency just last year. Another one sits in a military-restricted zone so remote that most volcanologists have never stood anywhere near it. And one of them, if it erupted at full scale, would deposit ash across an entire hemisphere within 72 hours. But let us start.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, drop a comment letting us know which city you're watching from. Did you know only 2% of our viewers are subscribed? Help us change that.
Up with number 1. Now let us travel across the volcanic zones of this planet, where the ground breathes, the Earth rises and falls over decades, and the most powerful geological forces alive today sit in silence just below the surface. Number 1 on our list, the least immediately threatening of all 7, is the Long Valley Caldera in California, United States.
It stretches 32 kilometers long and 17 kilometers wide across the eastern edge of the Sierra Nevada mountain range, formed by a catastrophic eruption 760,000 years ago that ejected roughly 600 cubic kilometers of material. Since then, the caldera has been monitored continuously by the United States Geological Survey.
Current activity consists of scattered earthquake swarms and low-level ground deformation that volcanologists describe as consistent with hydrothermal activity rather than magma movement toward the surface. The most significant modern unrest occurred between 1980 and 1982, when a series of magnitude 6 earthquakes prompted the survey to issue its first formal volcano hazard notice. The population within direct impact range is relatively sparse compared to most other active supervolcano systems, and the monitoring infrastructure here is among the most advanced of any volcanic system on Earth. Long Valley does not show signs of near-term eruption, but what happens beneath California does not ask permission before it changes. From the desert ranges of California, we travel south and cross the equator to a vast volcanic system that most people have never heard of. Number 2 is the Ara caldera in Japan, whose volcanic system has been almost continuously active since 1955 through its most visible vent, Sakurajima, a stratovolcano that sits within the caldera bay and produces explosive eruptions multiple times per week. The caldera itself stretches 17 kilometers across Kagoshima Bay in southern Kyushu, formed by a super eruption approximately 22,000 years ago that ejected approximately 450 cubic kilometers of material. Over 600,000 people live within the direct impact zone of Kagoshima City, which sits across the bay from Sakurajima. The ashfall from routine eruptive activity requires residents to carry umbrellas in August, not for rain, but for volcanic debris drifting across the water. A full caldera-forming eruption from Aira would produce consequences categorically different from anything Sakurajima has shown in recorded history. The system is active, the population exposure is significant, and the historical eruption record shows it is capable of outputs that no modern civil infrastructure was designed to withstand. From southern Japan, we head northwest across the Pacific to a system that sits at the geographic heart of one of Earth's most monitored national parks. Number 3 is the Yellowstone caldera in Wyoming, United States, the most media-covered supervolcano on Earth and, paradoxically, one of the least immediately threatening. The caldera stretches approximately 55 kilometers by 72 kilometers across the Yellowstone Plateau, formed by 3 major super eruptions occurring approximately 2 million, 1.3 million, and 640,000 years ago. The magma chamber currently contains an estimated volume of 4,000 cubic kilometers underground, of which up to 28% has been measured as molten rock, according to a 2023 study published in Earth and Planetary Science Letters. However, scientists consistently note that the proportion of liquid is still below the 40% threshold generally considered necessary to generate an eruptive system. Fewer than 10,000 permanent residents live within the immediate caldera region, though over 4 million tourists visit each year. The United States Geological Survey currently rates the probability of a caldera-forming supereruption in any given year at approximately 1 in 700,000. Yellowstone does not suggest an imminent eruption. It suggests patience. From the American plateau, we cross the Pacific Ocean to a volcanic system hidden inside a lake that holds the record for the most violent eruption in the last 5,000 years. Number 4 is Taupo Volcano in New Zealand, sitting beneath Lake Taupo on the North Island, the most productive silicic volcanic system on Earth over the past 2 million years. The lake itself, stretching 616 square kilometers across the landscape, is the surface expression of a caldera that last produced a major eruption approximately 1,800 years ago, an event known as the Hatapi eruption that ejected over 100 cubic kilometers of material and produced pyroclastic flows moving at speeds exceeding 700 kilometers per hour that covered the entire North Island in ash. In 2022, the volcano experienced its most significant unrest episode since modern monitoring began, with over 1,800 earthquakes recorded beneath the lake floor and measurable ground deformation detected in multiple locations. The alert level was raised in September of 2022 and returned to baseline in May of 2023. In January of 2025, a new swarm of over 50 earthquakes struck the geothermal area north of the lake. Taupo averages one major eruptive episode per 1,000 years. The last one was 1,800 years ago. The mathematics of that pattern is not comfortable. From the South Pacific, we travel north across 2 oceans to a volcanic system built on a landscape that human civilization has occupied for more than 3,000 years. Number 5 is the Amatitlan caldera in Guatemala, a supervolcanic system whose surface expression is dominated by Pachaia volcano, one of the most consistently active volcanoes in Central America, with eruptions recorded in every decade since 1961. The caldera structure itself is estimated at 14 kilometers across, and the broader volcanic zone sits within 40 kilometers of Guatemala City, a metropolitan area of approximately 3 million people. The Pachaia system produced a significant eruption in May of 2010 that forced the closure of La Aurora International Airport and covered Guatemala City in volcanic ash to a depth of several centimeters, disrupting water infrastructure and requiring the National Emergency Declaration. The Broda caldera's last supereruption scale event occurred approximately 23,000 years ago. The proximity of active erupting vents to a dense urban population makes the Amatitlan system a situation where even sub-supervolcanic eruptions carry consequences measured in millions of lives disrupted. From Central America, we travel east across the Atlantic and into the Mediterranean to a volcanic system where the threat is not a distant geological event, but an ongoing daily reality. Number 6 is Campi Flegrei in southern Italy, a supervolcano system stretching across 13 kilometers of the western edge of Naples, where 3 million people live within the direct impact zone of a caldera that has been undergoing continuous unrest since 2005. Since that year, bradyseism, the slow inflation and uplift of the ground caused by magma movement at shallow depth, has raised the ground beneath the town of Pozzuoli by approximately 144 centimeters as of April 2025, according to the Italian National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology. In 2024, a magnitude 4.4 earthquake struck the area on May 20th, prompting Italy's National Civil Protection Service to activate emergency protocols for the first time in decades. In March of 2025, another magnitude 4.4 earthquake struck during an active seismic swarm, triggering a second civil protection emergency declaration within 12 months. 5 earthquakes exceeding magnitude 4.0 occurred in 2025 alone, compared to 2 in all of 2023 and 2024 combined. The last full eruption of the Campi Flegrei system occurred approximately 39,000 years ago and produced the largest eruption in European history. Campi Flegrei does not wait for the future. It is already moving. It is already lifting the ground, and 3 million people are standing on top of it. From the crowded coastline of Italy, we travel east across Asia to the volcanic system that produced the single most catastrophic eruption in the last 100,000 years, and one that modern science believes altered the course of human evolution itself. Number 7. The most dangerous active supervolcano on Earth, by every measurable historical and present standard, is the Toba caldera on the island of Sumatra in Indonesia. The caldera stretches 100 kilometers long and 30 kilometers wide and holds Lake Toba, one of the largest volcanic lakes in the world, visible from satellite imagery as a dark mirror, surrounded by dense tropical rainforest. Approximately 74,000 years ago, the Toba system produced the largest eruption in the last 26 million years, ejecting an estimated 2,800 cubic kilometers of material and releasing a volume of sulfur dioxide into the upper atmosphere that triggered a volcanic winter lasting between 6 and 10 years. Average global temperatures dropped by an estimated 8 to 15 degrees Celsius during that period. Genetic evidence published in multiple peer-reviewed studies suggests that the human population may have collapsed to somewhere between 1,000 and 10,000 breeding individuals in the aftermath, a near-extinction bottleneck that modern humans still carry in their DNA. The current magma reservoir beneath Toba is estimated at more than 50,000 cubic kilometers. Indonesia sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire, the most seismically active tectonic zone on the planet, and the broader Sumatran fault system generates major earthquakes measured in the tens of thousands of events annually. If Toba produced another eruption at even a fraction of its 74,000-year event, the consequences would not be regional. They would not be continental. No climate model, no emergency system, and no national government has a functional response plan for what Toba is capable of. Toba does not hold the record. Toba is the record, and it has not finished. Which of these 7 supervolcanoes would you most want to stand above and look down into? Or, which one would you never go within 1,000 kilometers of, no matter the circumstances? Tell me in the comments below. If this video took you somewhere you have never been, hit the like button and subscribe, because next time we rank every major tectonic plate on Earth, from the most stable to the most catastrophically active. I will see you there.